Good morning and welcome to God's Club. Okay, so this morning I want to read, and Isaac heard a little bit of this book, but you heard a different part. Wednesday it. Try it. What's the title? Breathless. And what's the title of the book? Breathe, right? Everybody take a deep breath. It says, so this is Jesus talking to his disciples. It says, "I am going away," said Jesus. "You will not see me anymore." His friends could not understand. On that terrible day when Jesus died, their world seemed to crumble. They held tight to one another to keep from tumbling into emptiness. But then, how was it possible? He was back. Who came back after he died?
Jesus!
Wild joy sprang up in them. This time, they promised, "We will hold on to him and never let go." But Jesus shattered their hopes. Like small children, his friends clung to him, overflowing with questions. Have you ever done that to a teacher when they're trying to talk? Yes. Trying to say something important and you keep asking questions?
No.
No, you never do that? That's what the disciples did to Jesus. "Where are you going? Can we come too? When will you come back? Who will stay with us?" But Jesus gathered them close and said, "Don't be afraid. I will never leave you alone. A helper is coming to show you the way, to stand by you, to comfort you, to be with you always. Wait and watch." Then he was gone, like smoke from a candle dissolving into thin air. They held their breath, everybody take a breath, and waited. How do you think the disciples were feeling?
Sad.
Probably sad, because Jesus had just come back and they were all excited. And then Jesus gave them the news that he was going to be leaving again. Sometimes I hold my breath when I'm scared or when something hurts a lot. Saying goodbye to someone you love hurts. When they leave an empty space, they leave an empty space that no one else can fill. Other people come, but it's not the same. I wonder why Jesus came back to his friends, only to go away again. Why did he get their hopes up? That must have hurt. They must have been afraid. I guess everyone is afraid sometimes. Afraid of losing someone important, afraid of new things, afraid of change, afraid of being alone. It would help to have a friend who never goes away. I wonder who that could be. This is the last page we're going to read. On the last Sunday of Easter, which is today, we hear the story of the Ascension. It's a big word that means going up. As we hear the story of how Jesus went back to God, the storyteller lights a candle. Well, maybe. There, you see the candle burning? The storyteller lights a candle, then puts out the flame. Okay, I'm going to let you pull your mask down real quick. Can you blow that out? You might have to stand up. We're quite tall enough. There we go. Pull your mask up. A curly cue of smoke. Watch the smoke. Look at the shapes that it makes while it goes up from the candle. A curly cue of smoke rises, then dissolves into the air. Look how high it goes. I can smell it, even after it disappears. The light is still with us in some way, but it is not the same.
Look, it's going to go in here.
It's going everywhere. Look at it. Isn't that cool? So is the different as the wind moves in the room? Isn't that cool? Let me go back to this part. In our Bible story today that Pastor Nancy and myself are going to read because Mr. Joe isn't here today. The Bible verse today starts with, are you ready? This is what we're going to do for the children's moment when we get up front. You ready? It starts with people everywhere. Clap your hands. Now, we're going to shout, but we're not going to do it right now. we don't want to disturb people that are in church. But when I say up front, people everywhere, clap your hands. What are you going to do? Shout to God with a joyful voice. What do you shout out when you feel joyful?
Yeah!
Yay! What do you shout out when you feel joyful?
Woo-hoo!
What do you shout out when you feel joyful? I will woo-hoo for myself. I generally go
Usually, I get this from my mom, but I go woo-hoo.
I like that one. So when I say that up front, when I say people everywhere, clap your hands, what are you going to do? Clap! Clap. And when I say shout to God with a joyful voice, what are you going to do?
Shout!
Shout to the Lord. Now, when we go in today, we're going to take ribbons. You can each use two. Yeah, Caitlin already have a couple there. Now, Isaac was here for Try It, Lindsay. Do you remember what we did with the ribbons outside? We let them blow in the wind. We let them blow in the wind. So when we go down the aisle, okay, when we walk in, can you make it look like your ribbons are blowing in the wind? Yeah, make it look like they're blowing in the wind. What do you want to do? Like you're in an embroidery? We'll see you next week.